Hey traders, Jason here from Lever Brothers. So in this video, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin stocks. They are hot right now. Okay, we know that money rotates around the market. You've heard the saying that there's a bull market somewhere. It's true at any given time. There tends to be a couple of groups that are doing really well, and everything else is kind of okay or good or a little bit bad. But at any given time, there's a group that's hot, and you want to play that. Okay, the little details of your trading strategy don't matter that much if you're playing the right stocks in the right group to begin with. Okay, so like an amateur playing the right stocks will make more money than a pro that's fishing in the wrong pond. Okay, so right now Bitcoin stocks are hot. We went through a stretch where large cap tech was hot. Some of them still are. Money rotates around. Groups run hot and cold. You want to be focused on whatever group is hot at any given time. Right now, Bitcoin stocks are hot. I think they keep going. So I want to go through some trades just to show you how you could have traded them. I talk about my trade setups in my masterclass. I talk about the concept of playing what's hot in the masterclass. I talk about the need, the real hard need to like really fully maximize opportunities when you have them. And that's also available in my masterclass. All right, so let's get into this. These are some of the Bitcoin stocks. These are only just a handful. I don't want this video to be so long. So let's go through how you could have traded them and how I have traded them. All right, so here is RIOT. So first I'll talk about the top. What I have here is up top I have the daily, then I have the RSI 12, MACD, standard default settings, stochastics. My settings are 5-3. So RIOT ran up, great run. We got a break of support over here. We got a negative divergence with the histogram. Then the MACD crosses down there. Trend line drawn on the stochastic. Then it breaks down there. So lots of sell signals over here on the right side, or as noted here. Then you have this attempt to bounce right over here, but during that bounce attempt, notice the MACD failed to cross back up. The stochastic simply rotated up and then came back down. And then just as telling is the RSI. Notice how the RSI just flagged here. Okay, made no attempt to move back up. So even though the price was trying to recover, none of the indicators would have it. Okay, so RSI broke down over here. MACD kissed and then just continued lower. Stochastic continued lower, and boom, we got a big sell-off. Okay, so that was the top. You could have gone short there for sure. Those are great signals. Now let's talk about how I played the bottom here. You got a rolling double bottom, as you can see. Okay, so the first move up off the low gets rejected by the 21, which in my opinion is perfect. Okay, I don't want the stock to just bounce and go up and up and up. Because I'm probably going to miss that, because I'm usually not going to be interested in a stock that just fell so much and is so weak. I want it to prove itself first. So it moves up, gets rejected, but when it moves up, the MACD crosses, the RSI moves off of a low, and then it flags. That's terrible. And then it flags here, okay, which is a really good sign, because what happens is as the stock moves back down, instead of the RSI dropping back to a low, it just simply flags. And instead of the MACD doing a kiss and moving back down, it actually crossed up and stayed above its signal line. And the stochastic cycled down and moved back up. So you got the stochastic crossing up here, you got the MACD crossing up here, and then you got the RSI breaking out of a flag pattern here, and it all coincides with the stock moving up, resting, and then breaking out again. So this was a really good trade. Lots of signals here. So you didn't have to know that Bitcoin was hot or was going to do anything, was going to run up as much as it has. If you're just following the signals, there were definitely buy signals in here. All right, let me look at the same chart. This is same chart, but it's a 60-minute chart, just to show you that these same exact signals appear on multiple time frames. So here's RSI, and so what we have here is we have the MACD crosses up over here, and then it stays above zero and then lifts off over here. RSI bases, trend line drawn, breaks out, and then you can see the stochastic cycle down to the middle and then moved up from there. Okay, and notice that these signals here where MACD crossed up and then lifted off over here, breakout over here, crossover over here, those are happening within the base. Okay, it's not like some people say the indicators, they're lagging indicators. Because they're a function of price and sometimes volume. They're always going to be late. It's actually not the case. Like sometimes they're early. Like all these indicators gave signals while the price was still in its base here. It gave you a warning sign that it was going to move up. And as you can see here, it's moved from like 10.5, and now today it's up near 17. Normally that doesn't happen. That's a once in a while thing when stocks are like really, really active and really, really hot. Most of the time you're going to get a measured move up, 10 or 20%, and that's good enough. Okay, you get a move up, you get a pause, and then you get a second move up, and you can nail a 10 or 20% move. That's perfect. All right, let's go to the next one. Here's Mara, the daily. Similar setup as to RIOT, so I'll go through this a little bit quicker. So you had Mara obviously ran up, great stock, but it broke down here. We got a cross down here, came the stochastic topped and then crossed down there. So lots of sell signals. And then as Mara tried to recover over here, notice that the RSI just moved sideways. It didn't recover. The MACD could not cross back up, and the stochastic simply rotated up and then crossed back down. So lots of sell signals over here. So now let's look over on the right side to how you could have played it on the long side. So stock basis moves up, not playing that, gets rejected by its 21. It could from there, it could just like get rejected by the 21 and move down like that. You just don't know. But when it gets rejected by the 21, we get the RSI flags here. Okay, it doesn't drop back to its low. The MACD histogram gets smaller, and eventually crosses up over here. The stochastic cycles down and crosses back up. So you got a cross over here. MACD crosses up here. RSI breaks out of its flag, and it all coincides with the stock moving up, pausing, and then moving up again. Okay, so if the RSI, if during this pause, if during this pullback, the RSI would have been falling back down to here, probably would not have been a good play. If the MACD would have kind of kissed its line there and then trended down, would not have been a good play. If the stochastic would have come down and did something like that, wouldn't have been a good play. But the movement of the indicators actually told us pressure was building. The stock was probably going to move to the upside. All right, here's Clean Spark, CLSK, similar to the last two. Breakdown over here. We got negative divergence with the histogram, then cross. We got a trend line break here, then cross. So lots of sell signals over here, similar to the last two charts. As the stock flagged, this could have been a flag and then break out to the upside, but the RSI would have nothing to do with it. It did not move up. MACD made no attempt to move up whatsoever. It just continued down, and the stochastic just simply went up to its center line and then came back down. So we knew that this was weak. It wasn't gonna go up right there. Then we get a bottom here, a flag. It's my favorite type of setup to play: a bottom, a flag, and then moved up from there. And then while that's happening, you get the RSI moves up, flags. As you can see, MACD crosses, and then during the flag period, it does not cross back down over here. And while this is taking place, the stochastic simply cycles and then recrosses. So, buy signals here. The fact that it didn't cross over here, breakout here, lots of buy signals, and they take place like within the pattern or like right at the end of the pattern. And again, the fact that the stock doubled, that's luck. Okay, normally you can get a move like this, and you'll get a move, a measured move or a move back to a high or something like that. The fact that it's gone up a lot, I'll admit it's luck, but you play the signals from a strong stock and a strong group, and you will get lucky. Okay, last stock. This is Terawolf. All right, so this is the 60-minute chart. So, and by now you guys know this stuff pretty well. Again, I go over my details of my trading strategy in my master class, as well as some of the background, theory behind it. But you have Terawolf that had moved up, was consolidating and moved up. So during the consolidation phase, you can see in the 60-minute chart, RSI forms, trend line breaks out over here. MACD crosses here, and then during this whole time here, while it's basing over here, the MACD never crossed down. So it moved up, came down and kissed, and then expanded off. And during that time, the stochastic cycled down and then cycled back up. So you got cycle back up here, it kissed there and started moving off. It broke out over here, and off she went. Now, this is the 60-minute chart. You get the same signals on the 120-minute chart. Okay, this is the 120 2-hour chart. You get trend line break over here. You get MACD crosses here. You get stochastic is moving up over there. Lots of buy signals in here. The reason I show you this is because I've showed you daily, hourly, 2-hour. You get signals on all these charts, and it's a really powerful thing. All right, so this is the pond that you needed to be fishing in. Bitcoin stocks have been hot. We played them at Levitt Brothers. I talk about details of the trading strategy and background information in my master class. Hope you got something out of this. A couple days, I'm gonna do another video on Bitcoin and talk about some longer term targets that I think are realistic. Looking out several months or looking out a year. All right, we'll see you next time.